Hail and well met. Welcome to episode 4 of the Twilight of the Realms, a Westgate Irregulars spinoff. I am Eric Scott the DM of this game. I am wearing my World's Tallest Leprechaun shirt because it is about St. Patrick's Day time when this is being shown. As I said, I am the DM of this game. I don't have any characters to tell you about, but I do have my own work to tell you about, as well as some sponsorships. So I am a writer and a game designer and a Twitch streamer. You could see some of my novels on that wall right there. Also some of the like D&D stuff that I've contributed to. I am currently in the midst of writing book 4 of my superhero series. That is the Justice Vengeance series with Libations for the Dead, Public Enemy, and Fallen Angel there on my shelf. You can get to that in the doobly-doo below. If you do !justice should bring up a link. And check those out because they're pretty fun. And that is going to be 6 books. This is book 4 that I'm writing right now. They're currently taking out a bunch of Nazi super soldiers. It's great. I want to tell you about our dice partners before I move on. We have 2 partners. They are Norse Foundry and Phoenix Dice. Norse Foundry specializes in metal dice, where you'll find most warriors swinging light plastic weapons. They have heavy-duty metal dice that will dent your table and will stab your foot if you step on them wrong. And there's no right way to step on a metal die. Anyway, check them out, and they have a bunch of other cool gaming accessories at norsefoundry.com. You can find a link down below. The other dice partner we have is Phoenix Dice, named for the creature that rises from the ashes, made from all recycled material. They are always designing and testing multiple types of recycled materials for your enjoyment, raising dice from those ashes and onwards to new epic adventures. Find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com. Take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford, or Allie for short. I'm an author, game designer, and TTRPG streamer, and I'm playing Shay Darksong, the, former Irregular herself, kind of the leader of the criminal underground that Ilra set up, and now in a lot of trouble. Probably. Maybe. She's very angry. We'll leave it at that. And I would like today to tell you about one of our sponsors, which is Idle Champions. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida, Havilar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels novels. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and Web, Epic Game Store, Google Play, Xbox S and X, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. For more information, check out idlechampions.com. See, I updated the read. All right. I have nothing specific of my own to talk about right now because, unfortunately, by the time you see this, I think the Kickstarter we had did not make the funding, and we will have to just kind of see what happens from there. But there's potential that it might come out as an ebook, so I will keep people posted. Otherwise, I'm currently working on a couple things, mostly a vampire novel and a Grey Mantle novel, so stay tuned. Like Cora.
Yes. Hi, my name is Cora. I am a writer and game designer as well. I have nothing that I really need to promote. I am going to be playing Callista, our face guard ranger, who is still working through some memories. So I am excited to continue working on that.
Excellent. Okay.
Hello, my name is Karia Tidrekin. You can call me Kay. If my voice sounds different, that's because I've been experimenting with it. Please check out my Patreon, Kyria's Creations. And today I'm playing Sorrow, the Tiefling Barbarian Warlock, who has just recently stopped drinking, and so she is hungover, cranky, and not in a good mood.
Yeah.
All right. Well, When last we left off, you had taken an extended rest at this temple of Ilmater, just simply called the house, after a terrible attack in Westgate had gone down. You helped save a lot of people from that attack, but priests, specifically high priests of various faiths in Westgate, appeared to be in peril by some unknown assassin. Other assassins were coming to find you, but they were chased off by the various wards that you had set up, as well as what the priests of Ilmater did in the temple as well to protect you. Your long rest has concluded. The first thing that happens when you arise from your rest is that Ilmarin is unable to rise from her bed, being just way too sick and weak. Like, she really spent herself and all of her power on helping the previous day, exposing herself to a bunch of injured and or sick people, and now she is herself ill.
Mara.
That doesn't keep her from whining about wanting to come, because that's obviously what she's going to do, but she is in no state to join you on this journey.
I mean, we'll see how Jen feels about the description of Ilmarin whining, but yeah.
Protesting elegantly.
Protesting elegantly.
Quite.
Being very reasonable in a very irrational way. Yes. Anyway, yeah, Jen is really busy at a convention this weekend and can't record with us, so that's why Ilmarin's not here. And if Ilmarin is ever mentioned again in the adventure tonight, just ignore that. Clearly she's still sick in bed, right? There's no cosmic warping of reality.
Yeah. If it's not like the editor of this episode forgot to take that mention out.
Absolutely not. Okay, so the three of you have decided to go about your business for the day, tracking down the Shadar-Kai, and I believe there was a discussion of getting Sorrow a new weapon, seeing as Sorrow's piddly little dagger isn't necessarily going to do it for her massive strength and berserker sort of style of fighting.
And she does not want to use her Pact Blade because she's trying to break that habit, among other habits.
Right. So, fresh and refreshed and repaired and rejuvenated, you are free to head out into the Westgate morning. It is cold and drizzly, and the pervasive smell of burning and soot blankets the city from that massive attack the previous day. You see carts of corpses moving around, being carted off to places where it would be safe to have that many corpses. But otherwise, the city is going about its normal business. Like, you see people selling broadsheets and other knickknacks on the street, totally oblivious to the corpse wagons going by. It's like the demands of capitalism insist that you ignore the suffering of others. It's almost like that. Okay. Immediately outside the temple, and I think this is going to be especially important for Callista to know, there are signs of a struggle, a scuffle, or if you want to be less generous to the attackers, a magical rout. The Shadar-Kai approached. Spells started to go off. There's at least one severed hand, like gray, a lank-skinned hand that was cut off by possibly the spirit, the guardian of faith that had attacked them. Because interesting fun fact, this is kind of a digression. Back in 3.5 edition, when Ilmater's avatar was listed in the one of the Faiths and Pantheons book, I think it was. Even though he is the god of peace and resilience and nonviolence, his fists are still considered vorpal weapons. So, bam! One Shadar-Kai lost an arm, a forearm, in this fight. You see lots of burns, trails of ash, blood spray, and yes, you do indeed find tracks that you can follow. The rain is very light, and it has not obliterated the tracks.
Okay. Also, Vorpal fists. Talk about knocking someone's block off, huh?
That's right. Pow, pow. Rock'em sock'em gods of Faerun.
Rock'em sock'em gods. That's a thing now.
All right. Well, Shay will kind of. Shay's very quiet right now. Like, she's very kind of dour. She has both swords belted at her waist at the moment. But is definitely keeping a hand on the adamantine one, which is taken the spot that she normally would have put Elashiel in. So it's kind of on the left side.
Sorrow is also quiet because she is hungover and has a massive headache, and therefore very grumpy.
Well, Callista managed to sleep, so she's actually doing fairly good.
It
all
falls
things
upon
considered.
Callista to lead this pack.
Yeah,
Callista,
which
the
she'll
mom
probably
Not to
she'll
mention
probably
Ranger.
crouch. Yeah, she'll probably crouch down once she reaches, like finding the blood. She'll crouch down and kind of take a look at it for a little bit and check kind of the direction of the blood splatter before being like, we should start off that way.
Okay. It appears that most of the blood spattered away from the entrance to the downstairs of the house. So most of the damage was, from attacks from inside, and the rain hasn't completely spoiled the tracks. You can still see the huge dust up and the marks of bodies that went sliding through the mud. But you can also see blood spattered onto one of the walkways heading off to the east, or to the kind of the southeast. And then periodically you can see like little dark blood spots on walls and on cobblestone. So even if the prints themselves are difficult to find based on how many people come through the street, the blood stains are fairly easy to follow.
Cool. So an easier trail.
Make a survival check, please.
Oh,
I
nice
said
of them to leave us
fairly
one.
easy, as in fairly easy for a ranger of Callista's level to follow.
15.
Yes, no problem. Like your first level ranger would be like, I got this, and you'd end up in a fest hall. So anyway, all right, yeah, you start leading them along. You'll find, buildings that have like bloody spots on the wall where somebody leaned against it. You were pretty sure there are 3 individuals that you were following. 2 of them have slightly heavier tread, like they're carrying more gear than the third one. And obviously one of them is probably missing a hand, unless the Shadar-Kai regrew the hand somehow with healing magic. And you start following them. They're headed in the general direction of the market triangle, which Shay could point out to you.
Yeah.
That's kind of the mercantile heart of Westgate is a triangle oriented around a big tower, which is ostensibly the heart and soul of like much of the financials in the city. And then there are stalls arrayed around it, and then the buildings around the edge of that triangle are also dedicated shops. And in Westgate, you could buy almost anything as long as you have the gold for it. Except technically, slavery is illegal in Westgate. Technically. Which doesn't mean that you wouldn't eventually encounter people who are selling even those things that barely regulated capitalism restricts. So, all right. Yeah, and the trail just keeps leading you in that direction. Eventually, it kind of stops near the entrance to the triangle and splits off in two different directions.
Okay.
It is also much harder to track people through the triangle because it is packed with people. Like, there may have been a disaster in Westgate the previous night, but right now everybody is going about business as usual. People are hawking their wares, shouting loudly, advertising for all kinds of things like fried fish, fried venison, fried mystery meats. Ooh, come and check the mystery meats of the Moonsea. Ah, you gave that stand a wide berth. There is a representative of Aurora's here. There's a booth, but mostly they're showing like exotic devices and goods from various lands far removed from Westgate. But mostly they're directing people to Aurora's actual shop, which is, well, I mean, I guess you don't really know. You just see some of these goods that look vaguely familiar to you, like you might have seen them in far distant, removed situations, because Callista is widely traveled.
Okay.
With all of the yelling and people crowding around, Sorrow starts to get a little snappy, like, get the hell out of my way. Who are you shouting at?
Does somebody want to get Sorrow a snack?
Yeah, I think Shay will be like, Sorrow, just a moment. I think you look like you could use something. She'll go straight for the mystery meat stand.
Excellent.
Because
All
like
right.
given her history, given her backstory, like growing up on the streets in Westgate, like you eat what you get. Like, and this is like it's palatable, it's decent, it's a good, meal for a good price. So he's got no problem with it. So why would anybody else?
Welcome to the mystery meats of the Moonsea. I am Shalazar, originally of Kalimshan, but lately of Hillsfar. That is where Mystery Meats of the Moonsea is situated. We are attempting to make a stand here in Westgate. Please buy some of our stock. There is mystery meat number 1, mystery meat number 2, mystery meat number 3. There are 6. He goes through all of them in that same way.
All right. Well, I think Shay will kind of like cock her head a little bit and she'll be like, I'll take 1 through 3. One of each.
Mystery meat number 1 and 2 and 3. Excellent. Excellent. Your generosity knows no bounds. Please, that will be 3 gold pieces, 1 for each mystery.
That's actually surprisingly high a price for a skewer of mystery meat.
Well, it is the mystery you are purchasing. The meat is only a happy coincidence.
All right. she'll hand over the gold. Because like she's
Shalazar of Kalimshan, lately of Hillsfar, takes your coins and gives you a skewer of each of those 3.
okay. Thank you. And she will.
Thank you, my gracious lady, for supporting our business in this wonderful, smoky, and smelly city.
It is all of those things. Thank you very much. And she'll head back to the others and kind of look at the 3 different skewers of mystery meat and then hold one of the random ones out to Sorrow. Here, this should help. You should eat something.
That's not gonna help, but fine.
Okay.
Tastes like chicken.
I mean, food.
Would you
tends
like to make
help
a?
with-
Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, food tends to help with hangovers, and you've clearly got one. So, eat something.
Sorrow, if you are curious as to what this meat might be, you
Mhm.
may attempt a perception check
Okay.
or a nature check if you prefer, but I suspect you prefer perception.
Yes. Well, that'll be a 20.
Callista, you can do that as well if you like, just from looking at it.
16.
Okay. Callista, you're like, that doesn't look edible. And Sorrow, you taste it. And you are pretty sure that this is basically like chicken because it is cockatrice meat.
Hey.
I've had worse.
You have. Your mind flashes back to a moment where you bit the head off a cockatrice in the arena.
Which
Good
is impressive
times.
given the size of cockatrices. Shay will then turn and hold out one of the other skewers, randomly, of course, to Callista.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pass. Thank you, though.
Sorrow. Yoink.
All right. And Shay will just shrug and hand the third one to Sorrow.
Would you like to make a roll about this one, Sorrow?
Tastes like pork. That'll be 14.
It does taste like pork.
Which is kind of distressing, honestly.
Doesn't taste like human meat, though,
Well, that's good.
which Sorrow can assure you very clearly about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of those corpses they were taken by looked unpleasantly appetizing.
And Shay's like, that doesn't make it any better.
No, it doesn't make it any better. And you're not.
Seven- 17 on the
Not-
third one.
This one tastes like like something amphibious, like a frog, not like a fish, but like a frog of some kind.
Sahagin.
Nah, I'd say more like what are those things? Like I don't know, chaotic things. They like plant eggs in you. Salads.
Flawed?
Yeah, one of those.
I don't.
Kind of vaguely, yeah. It has
I
this
mean-
like strange, oily taste that it leaves in your mouth. It's
Yeah.
like you ate a shadow, is what it tastes like, and you don't feel very filled.
Hey, drink. Water, not like a drink, like an actual.
Okay.
Something sanitary.
Something that
Well,
isn't booze.
if she wanted something sanitary, I wouldn't recommend the water.
Whoa,
Listen,
noted.
Very
I don't
light.
want- I don't want the booze because I was talking to the Elma
Ilmarin?
priest. No, Ilmater.
Oh, the
yeah, the priestess.
priest of
you know,
Ilmater.
you
Okay.
remember her? And we talked for a long time, and she told me that if I wanted to think for myself, I needed to be able to think.
Being clear-headed helps.
Yeah.
Wise advice.
Well, we could find. I bet you, we're in the market. There might be someone selling, like, fruit juice, maybe.
Well, I need a weapon too, so I'm gonna wander around for a little bit, find something to drink, find a weapon.
You do hear the telltale clang of a hammer upon an anvil.
I'll catch up with you.
All right. Yeah. No problem.
All right, so Sorrow heads off. So you have some time on your hands. People are going about, engaging in commerce, checking out the shops and stands. At a brief glance, you can see that some of them have pretty good, decent goods. Some of them are more like what you just kind of expect at a flea market. And some of them are obviously overpriced souvenirs that, I went to the big city. Here's what I'm bringing back to my farm. That sort of thing. but there are shops of all kinds. Stands in the triangle itself, and also the buildings around the market triangle tend to be the more established, higher end sort of shops. What do you want to do? +2 against shopping episode. +2 against shopping episode. What do you want to do?
Well, so Callista's gonna, we're gonna be idling there for a bit, and after a few minutes pass, she'll probably kind of scratch at her throat for a little bit and look to Shay. We're already stuck here waiting. I'd hate to waste some time. Do you have any good contacts for alchemical ingredients, alchemical supplies?
I might. What sort of supplies are you looking for?
Eccentric. Really, I'd be looking for a master of the craft, someone who actually knows what they're doing.
So you're looking for an alchemist, not just a shop, then?
Yes.
Shopping episode it is. All right. So, yes, Shay, you do know that there are several pretty skilled alchemists operating in Westgate. I mean, where there's a demand, there are merchants to meet that demand. The most effective, potent, skilled, esoteric alchemist that you know, however, Callista might not like it, but it is probably the best chance to get some really strange stuff.
Oh, and who might that be?
And thus do you find yourselves on the way to the corner market, which is called Imperium Exotica and Esoterica. And it is run by a Red Wizard of Fae. That's right. The consortium in Westgate has expanded in the years after the chaos of the Happy Earthquake, and now they have a store on the Market Triangle itself.
Oh.
The wizard behind the counter, one Donna by name, Danna, is not. She takes pains not to seem super obviously a red wizard. Like, she's not wearing red. That would be too cliche. Instead, she has a deep kind of purple burgundy sort of robe with gold accents, earrings, nose piercing, that kind of thing. And she wears a headdress, what in our world we would refer, headscarf rather. In our world, we'd refer to that style as kind of like a niqab, okay, which is the full facial showing headscarf that you might see Muslim women wearing. Not just showing the eyes or any part of the face. It shows the whole face, hides the hair. You know that in her case, however, in Donna's case, it is hiding the tattoos.
Yep.
And she says, Shay Dark Song, it has been too long. Please, come in. Come in.
It has been a while. I don't often find myself in need of your expertise and your goods.
I so rarely deal with you directly. I hope and I trust that my last shipment was to your liking. She has a vaguely Rashemi accent, although it kind of moves a little bit farther afield.
I think it was exactly what I needed. So that was appreciated.
Wonderful. Wonderful. How may I be of service to you this day? Would you wait a second? I have another client. Please, take a look around. I shall be with you shortly. Yes, come. And so there is indeed another person there. You didn't see them immediately because they're in a very dark cloak, like a black weather cloak, even though it's only overcast out. It's not actually raining right now. And they're kind of like looking around the part of the herbal shop that is for medicinal herbs, like pain relief, ointments, things like that.
Okay.
The shop itself is very floral, and very astringent in places. Like there's a whole multitude of smells that assail you. If you have sharpened senses, which I suspect both of you do, it is very, very strong and right there in your face.
Yep. Shay certainly does. So that's great. It's probably why she doesn't come in here a lot herself and has other people do it for her.
Right.
Well, if anyone can get you what you need, it's going to be Donna.
All right. He certainly has a collection.
Yeah, so you just start looking around, kind of sorting through the herbs and checking out. Some of these are spell ingredients, right? Or could be used for spell ingredients. Some of them could be used with an alchemy kit, alchemy workshop, an herbalism kit to treat wounds, create potions of healing, things like that. Most commercially available potions of healing would be like herbal rather than magical, and they would be made with things that you could get in the shop.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Callista's probably looking around, taking the time to identify what she can. In particular, she's looking to see if she can notice any ingredients that match what she knows she needs. Like, she's not an alchemist, but I imagine that she has enough experience with this specific concoction to be able to spot, like, if some of those ingredients are there and available.
Why don't you go ahead and make a nature check, or a survival check would work as well.
Let's do that.
The DCs are slightly different, but
21 on survival.
okay. So you can identify the herbs that go into your concoction or decoction, whichever term is more accurate, by taste and smell mostly. Is Callista trained with an herbalism kit or with alchemical tools?
I don't believe so. I'll double check real quick, but I'm 99%. No.
Okay.
Her,
So you're
her
mostly
toolkit is cartographer's tools.
okay. Yeah, you're mostly winging it, right?
Mhm.
You have never quite perfected the recipe to be exactly the same as the first time you had it, but you're pretty close, and what you put together tends to be mostly effective. Not as effective as that first draft, but it gets you by. So you identify some herbs by smell. You kind of like taste a couple of them. Shay, you're following Callista around as she's identifying herbs that are at least close to what she's looking for.
Yeah.
And she marks a couple. Like there are runes etched on the bins of herbs, and when you touch one of them, it will light up in this faint red glow, basically marking your interest in it so that you can come back to it. This is something that the Thayans do. It makes the shopping experience very good, and it's enjoyable, especially for children. They love this kind of thing, which is why Donna has a specific no children allowed policy in her shop. But Callista marks a few, and then she'll like come back and she'll unmark one, right? Because you found something better. And she is eventually at a little cask of powdered iron, and she marks that one, like without even testing. She's just like, that one.
Powdered iron.
Unconventional. Like I said, I needed someone who knows what they're doing.
Clearly. I'm not sure
would like
what
to make
exactly.
If you would like to make an Arcana check, Shay.
Yeah,
Meg.
I think.
But continue with what you were saying.
would. Oh, it's make an I'm not sure exactly what you would. Nah, I don't. I got a 5. I don't know.
As far as you know, she's making gunpowder, or to be more clear, smoke powder.
Smoke powder, which only the priests of Gond can even make work. So,
Well, there are
hey.
certain tribes of certain clans of deep gnomes that are known to make smoke powder explosives.
Fair enough. Well, yeah. I'm not even sure what application that would have, but my expertise isn't exactly with concoctions meant to help people.
Neither is mine.
That gets a look. Well, is this that stuff you were drinking? Or
Yes.
all right. Well, whatever you need to get that pick me up, I suppose. I'm not exactly one to judge, and she'll kind of tap the there's a pair of like little vial kind of flask things at her belt, kind of tucked into some specially made loops there. Yeah, I'm not gonna judge you for whatever weird thing you're drinking. Oh,
Sorry.
okay. I may have to edit that. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Sorry about the weird cut.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, and Callista will like look to the vials, and then look to Shay, and raise an eyebrow, like,
explanations. Probably explanations are good. I have a problem. See, this is always hard to explain to new people. She'll kind of dip her voice a little lower. I am part vampire?
Callista, who is notoriously unflappable, raises one eyebrow.
part.
You saw me walking around in the sun. I'm not like I don't like it, but I'm
In
not
what way?
in the in the not entirely technically alive and drinks blood sometimes sort of way. Though I don't need it. I don't need it to survive. It's just kind of a craving sometimes. It's something that I have managed. I do not drink from people. This is why I keep the flasks. They are an emergency supply in case I need it.
And when do you usually need it?
Not often, if I can help it, but sometimes if I'm stressed or really pushed to my limit, or sometimes if I haven't had any for a very long time, I do get the cravings, like I said, but I manage it.
So you don't need it to survive,
No.
but the nature encourages you to drink.
Yes.
All right. I will keep that in mind.
I don't bite. I don't bite.
All right.
It's like I said, it's a long story. It's Have you heard of a group called the Night Masks?
No.
They used to be a very notorious thieves guild in Westgate, and one of the ways that they kept their hold of power was that the majority of their leadership were vampires, and including their leader, who called himself the Night King. They created a kind of partial vampire assassin that they called Deathbringers, I think. Deathbringers, Death Dealer, anyway, doesn't matter.
Deathbringers.
Deathbringers. Who they could control, but could also move about in daylight and could go where they couldn't. I was turned into one of these through some very unusual circumstances, and then I later killed the Night King, so not a problem anymore.
And there's no way to cure your affliction.
I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. I've been busy with a lot of things, and I just haven't probably looked into it the way I should have. But yeah, believe me, if I told you the whole story, it would be confusing and difficult to believe. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, thank you for trusting me to be honest with us.
I appreciate you not freaking out. I try not to hide it from people. I mean, like the irregulars that, well, I guess I don't know how much they're actually doing anymore of the adventuring sort of thing, but when they were around, they didn't seem all that bothered by it, and it has its perks. So I never hid it from them, and obviously my partner knows. So yeah.
Callista, make an insight check, please. So there's clearly something else there that Shay is not saying, but she trailed off. You're also pretty sure that she's being honest about not biting people. So maybe that means you don't have to add garlic to your concoction. Which is good, because garlic really, really makes it awful.
Yeah, and I imagine that, like, there was that initial moment where it was probably subtle enough it might not have been picked on in the moment, but that initial moment when Shay, like, said, you know, basically, like, I'm part vampire, where Callista's left hand just kind of idly slid towards her weapon, but it's kind of moved back to its previous resting position now.
So if you found everything, we should probably check back with Donna.
So you hear a commotion at the front of the store. Donna is kind of standing peacefully behind the main counter, but her other customer has like pushed stuff off the counter and is obviously very upset. She says, it sounds like a feminine voice, says in very loud, sort of an elvish dialect. It sounds like a very dark, angry, sort of elvish. She says some kind of protest. And Donna very calmly explains, I am sorry. I cannot verify the value of that currency, and so I cannot take it simply on your word. And the customer shoves something off of the counter and says, "You'll have to pay for that as well once you find some coin that I will accept." And the woman kind of half turns, and you see that she has that lank gray skin and the piercings and tattoos of one of those Shadar-Kai that you saw in the tower, Shay.
Yeah, I think at that last clatter, Shay will actually step out kind of more into the open, hand resting on the hilt of her rapier, and she'll say, "Is everything all right here?"
Yeah. She sees you, you see her, and she starts casting a spell.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, if the moment I see spell casting, can I shadow dance behind her?
I'm going to have you roll a opposed initiative check. Cora's raising her
Sure.
hand.
Already did the thing.
Okay.
All right. Opposed initiative check. Okay.
What'd you get?
I only got a 13.
Okay. Callista?
Sure. We'll see if Callista gets a quick react to this. Only an 11, so no.
Okay. All right. So you dance into you start to melt into the shadows, and Callista, maybe your hand goes toward your weapon, or you're kind of focusing on your power, getting ready to fight, and her spell goes off. It is strange. The words of the spell, they sound like everyone uses a slightly different incantations. Okay, there's no one way to cast any particular spell, but these words sound particularly strange to your ears. And since you're both fairly familiar with magic, you don't see any obvious manifestation of magic while she's casting the spell. Like usually there's a glow, or some power flowing around the hands or the mouth. There's just nothing. She's just speaking, and that was maybe why she went a little faster than you, because you didn't realize she was casting a spell until it's happening. And all of a sudden, the world slows around you and spreads outward. It turns into 1,000 images, as if seen in a hall of mirrors, right, reflecting off one another. And each image becomes a wall, and you are surrounded by walls, and suddenly you are elsewhere. Okay. So, if we haven't taken our break yet, this would be a good time for us to take our break. And Allie will chop this out if we have. All right.
All right.
So, see you back soon. And we're back. Callista, you are standing in a darkened grove, a small clearing in a dark forest. The sky above you is a deep, deep purple. Clouds of silver and black arc around you up in the sky, twisting in a way that you never see on a mortal world. You are definitely not on a mortal world. You are, in fact, in the Feywild.
Okay.
And you hear horns in the near distance. You are in the Feywild, and you are being hunted.
Can I tell which direction they're coming from?
Make a survival check. You have all your equipment, all your gear, and you are wearing all the same things. You're even holding a small bowl of powdered iron, which is what you were holding in the alchemist shop before you disappeared here, wherever here is, whatever's going on.
Okay. 13 on the survival.
You're pretty sure they're coming from behind you. Let's go ahead and call that south for the purposes of this moment, because you have no idea what direction is which. And in the Feywild, directions are treacherous.
Yeah. Do I hear any running water?
Yes, you believe there is a stream, a babbling brook of some kind up ahead of you.
She's going to start moving that way
All right.
quickly.
You start cutting your way through the trees. The forest, and to call it a forest is a massive understatement. It's more like a fey jungle, right? The trees are growing in strange arcing ways, and their branches look like hands, and some of them are hands, and you know to avoid those as best you can. Every time you look back, the path looks a little different from when you came through. The trees seem to be moving as though directing you in a particular direction. You do come upon that brook, and sure enough, it is a fairly small sort of body of water, maybe about knee deep and about 5 feet wide, running down a waterfall over a fallen log. And there's a darkened cave inside that log. Like, you see that it is hollowed out. And you can see moss kind of gently waving at the top of the log. The smell that fills your nostrils is one of sweat and sorrow.
Okay.
Those horns are growing closer.
So what Callista will do is she will, still keeping that pace, move as though going downstream until she cuts into the water. And then once she's gone a certain distance in the water, she's going to misty step to break up her trail into the log to hide.
Okay. Make a stealth check, please. Your magic does operate as you expect, more or less. Although it is, it leaves you a little dizzy when you use it, as though when you go out of the world and then come back into the world, you're just overwhelmed with the fragrances and the sensations of the Feywild.
Okay. I'm going to use my heroic inspiration that I get.
Yep.
For re-rolling that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like that first roll. 25.
25. That's pretty respectable. All right, you plaster yourself against the wall of the log and wait. Sure enough. Yep.
She's probably like, once she gets down and she waits, like she does her best to keep quiet, but there's definitely, she's trying to fight like that rising panic enough to not make any sound.
Okay. You wait and you wait. And after some time, could be minutes, could be hours. Don't know. The only thing keeping you company is the beating of your heart and your breathing, which you're trying to keep low and quiet. You see dark hooves coming out of the jungle. These hooves belong to dark steeds, and you can see little traces of flame licking down from where their mouths and their manes would be. See, you have kind of limited vision from inside the log. You can only see like the bottom half of the hunting party that has come for you. You can see the feet, the stirruped boots, heavy, blackened, fire-blasted armor of the hunters who are after you. And that is indeed the wild hunt that is after you. You hear one of them in very ancient Elvish, kind of Elvish mixed with Sylvan, mixed with something even darker. It says, "Spread out, look for her." You must not be allowed to escape. And the riders start dispersing around the grove. They swing down from atop their nightmares, and now you can see their armor even better. It looks like it mostly has like leaves and tree motifs, but they are melted and burned like you're staring at a walking desiccated and forest that has turned to stone and has survived countless flash fires and burnings. They carry brutal weapons that seem to be made of bone, but are as hard as steel. And they search for you. Just gonna roll some dice here. So, as you're hiding, you taking any particular precautions? Are you thinking of anything in particular? How are you feeling in this moment?
As
That's
far
the
as
most interesting
feeling,
question.
there is definitely like this pit of just like this icy chill that is just sitting in her chest, and this panic that's like, I don't want to be back here. Why did they send me back here? Why are they looking for me again?
You thought you had escaped this. You thought you had left this behind.
I thought I was done and finally free. And as she's like struggling with this, she's trying to pay attention enough to those footfalls, those footsteps, and the sound of those looking for her. And she's going to be ready because she can make herself briefly invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So she's keeping that on the back burner for if they happen to spot and look in this log.
So, you see a pair of boots hesitates not too far from the entrance to the log and turns in your direction. And then it starts heading this direction toward the log. Clunk, 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 clunk. And then a hand, barbed, clawed at the ends, grasps the edge of the log. And the figure leans down to look inside.
And she'll become invisible until the end of her next turn.
Okay. And the figure's face is horrific. And it is, at first glance, it is covered in bone and antlers. But you know that that is not a helmet of any kind. That is the creature's face. And staring at it, your mind begins to unravel. And then there's a sound, and the creature looks away as quickly as it was looking into the log. And then it is no longer standing by the log. It is leaped back up on its nightmare, and the wild hunt rides off, leaving fire and smoke in its wake, chasing whatever sound that was that drew them away.
And Callista just collapses against the side of that log. And again, there's just that rush of like panic. She's needing to keep herself from hyperventilating and trying to just calm and collect her thoughts to figure out what do I need to do next to get away from this? She's back in that pattern of how do I prolong this hunt? How do I live another day? How do I live another hour? What do I need to do to get out of this?
And you realize in the depth of your messy, chaotic thoughts and doubts and fears that you are not alone. Okay. Now we're going to cut over to Shay. Shay, you awaken from your reverie peacefully in a warm, silk-covered bed of deep purple sheets and black comforter. And a voice speaks to you and says, "What are you thinking, love?" And sure enough, Ilra is lying there in bed next to you, kind of curled up to you. Did you have a bad dream?
I think so. Yes. Sorry, I'm a little.
It is
out
all
of
right.
sorts.
She caresses your cheek with her fingers, which feel very real, and she says, "It is all right. I am here with you. Nothing can harm you while you are within my embrace. Also, you're so very warm."
Well, it's appreciated. I dreamt that you'd abandoned me.
I abandoned you. Why would I do such a thing?
I don't know. I really don't.
Then you had a silly dream.
Clearly. But dreams are just dreams. Did I wake you? Sorry.
I have lain awake for a time, watching you rest. This brings me peace.
I'm glad.
Yes. There's so much to do, you know. And she rises languidly from the bed.
I know. But the work's a little easier when we do it together.
Oh, that is so nice of you to offer, but don't worry, I can handle it.
Well, perhaps it's not so much about
Darling.
whether.
Darling, you should stay here where it is comfortable.
Well, you're off doing the gods know what.
She's suddenly perched on the bed over you, you know, crawling up along you. She says, "Yes, darling, exactly."
I'd rather. Perhaps it's just the dream rattling me, but I'd rather do the work. I'd rather work alongside you. It's always better when we do that.
She pouts at you. Well, if you want to do that, she's suddenly standing by the door exiting the room. You'll have to catch me first. And then she heads out the door.
Yeah, Shay's just a little, still very disoriented, kind of flabbergasted, especially with like the weird jumps in.
Yeah. It's like you lost a couple seconds of time.
Yeah, he's like actively trying to like kind of get her bearings because this is very strange. But she'll.
Yep. You're lying there. You're in your sleeping attire, which could be nothing. I don't know.
It's probably nothing. Let's be honest here.
But your clothes are all there, just waiting for you, strewn around, but waiting.
Yeah, she'll get up and like quickly throw her clothes on and has a moment of like, why am I always chasing after her? But she'll get dressed and head off after her, probably grab her sword on the way out.
Okay. You push open the door, and you find it opens to a hallway of doors.
What? Like, does it at least still kind of look like the Purple Lady hallway, or is it like a weird?
Yes, it has the same aesthetic as the Purple Lady hallway, but the hallway stretches far, far away from you.
This,
Doors on all sides.
this isn't right. She'll.
Find me, darling. Find me. You hear a voice echoing.
Gods below. And she'll kind of stumble a little down the hallway. Still very like this is growing increasingly strange. And she'll try to like follow the voice and see where that
Kind of
takes
echoing.
her.
It's kind of echoing around. There are, I don't know, at least 30, 40 doors on this hallway. You want to open one of the doors?
Yeah, she'll go to a door then nearby and open it and see what happens.
Oh, it leads to a corridor full of doors. That's what it does.
Oh, this is wrong.
Comes the laughter echoing.
This is wrong. This is wrong. Why? Why are you doing this?
No response.
All right, she won't go through that door, but she'll head for a different door and pull that one open.
Okay. That door also leads to a corridor full of doors.
And she's actually like getting kind of like agitated, like with how she was feeling like before they left the Temple of Ilmater. Like even though she's kind of disoriented and had written off a lot of like whatever she could kind of recall from before is like, oh, this is just a bad dream. Some of that anger, I think, is starting to bleed into her disposition now, because she will shout like, why are you always making me chase you?
Just mocking laughter.
All right, she'll rush to the next door and rip it open.
Leads to another hallway full of doors.
I mean, she'll rush down this one and
Start opening doors, looking around.
yeah,
Okay.
she's trying, and she's getting angrier. The more it opens to more doors, the more she gets laughed at, the more she's going to get angry. And finally, I think if that continues on for a while, she's going to stop and just like shout, like, I've had enough of this.
Okay. That's exactly what happens. You're looking around, you're throwing open doors, you're running down hallways, you're just tiring yourself out, you're finding nothing, you just keep hearing that laughter, and occasionally whispers of something that Ilra is whispering to you. Things she said to you in the past, little charming things that she said to you, little flirtations, praising you, critiquing you, all sorts of things that you remember her saying that have had some impact on you. They're just whispered.
Right. Well, at this point, she'll stop, and she is like confused and seething, and I don't know. I think she'll say, I don't know why you're doing this. It's bad enough that you're never here. Why are you taunting me? This isn't like you.
Oh, but it is, darling. Oh, but it is. And then I want to switch back to Callista real fast.
Right.
Callista, you find that you are not alone in the log. In fact, sitting next to you with his legs crossed is an elf. A sun elf, you think they're referred to, is very kind of like golden, coppery sort of skin, kind of golden hair, which is very long, like it reaches down to his waist as he's sitting there. He's dressed in kind of like scraps of leather armor, and you think that it's probably, well, make an insight check, please. He's obviously quite old. You're not an expert on elven ages because, well, you're not an elf, but you do know a lot of elves. You suspect that he is at least 300-ish years old.
13 on the insight.
13. Like the way he's sitting, it looks like a blade master would sit that way, except that they'd have a sword over their lap, and he has no sword. And he says, I mean you no harm. I am sorry to intrude, but you seem to need help.
Who are you?
My name is Eildar. Who are you?
Callista, how are you here? Who are...
I am trapped here the same way you are trapped here. By the dark.
Yeah.
The dark caster's maze, of course.
Dark Caster's May.
Do you recall?
I do.
The Shadar-Kai. Yes, the servants of Shade. You are trapped in a maze.
I'm not there. Okay.
No, you are not. What does it look like to you?
Very wild.
Yes. Mazes wrought of shadow take a particularly cruel delight in changing their form to torment their captives.
What is it to you?
Well, he stands, which you shouldn't be able to do inside the log. But you realize that you're no longer in the log. You're outside the log. In the clearing. The sky has cleared somewhat. I mean, it's still dark purple, but the clouds are gone. The threatening rainstorm is gone. He says, we should find your friend.
All right. Lead the way.
Unfortunately, you need to lead the way. She is
All right.
trapped by sorrow and pain. You know her better than I.
Then how do I find her?
Focus. Unlock the power of your mind.
All right.
Think about what you have seen. So, mechanically speaking, I'm going to need you to make an intelligence investigation check. Think about what you know of her. So this is mechanically speaking, you can make an insight check instead of this investigation check if you prefer, which I thought you might.
Let's do that. 27.
Okay. Suddenly, the world around you shifts. What was a tranquil glade has now become a bare labyrinth of wood and bone and spider webs. But they're not really spider webs. They are webs, but they look like they're made of shadow. They're holding everything together. Ildar is still there. Again, he looks, pretty aged, and his armor is ancient. His hair is very long, and he nods. Good. She should be along any moment. And you hear this wailing, just heart-rending, wailing protests coming from Shay. So, I see both of you now. All right. Shay, the laughter just increases.
Yeah, she'll actually just kind of let out a furious, frustrated scream at the laughter.
You hear a furious, frustrated scream, Callista.
Then she'll
Ildar says, "Go to her.
Let's
We
go
shall
start
meet
off that way.
We shall meet again."
Thank you
Okay.
for your aid.
When you look back, he's no longer there. Okay, so Callista, you're running along the hall, following the sound of the scream. It's very easy to find Shay. She is being very loud. When you do find her, she's fully dressed the way she was in the shop. And she's like kneeling on the ground, shrieking in rage and pain and fury. And Shay, finally, there's a response to your cries. And Ilra is standing before you.
You finally showed yourself. And she'll kind of slowly pull herself up.
All right, Callista, looks like Shay is getting ready to attack you.
How dare you put me through this?
Okay,
Don't.
this isn't real.
Darling, you know you love this. Why pretend otherwise? Why pretend?
How could I love this? How could you even think that? To be always chasing after you like some kind of puppy? No.
You and I are the same, Shay. You and I, we are creatures of sorrow, creatures of loss. Our sorrow is sweet to the lady.
And she'll just go stock still at that. What?
All right, Callista. Shay is clearly speaking with someone who is not you, but she thinks it's you.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. The void inside you that hungers to be filled. It can never be filled. Never.
All right, and with that, Shay will just go shut up, and she will like try to lash out at Illyra.
All right, make an unarmed attack roll.
Yeah, it's unarmed. She's just gonna
All right. Shay is backhanding you, Callista, so go ahead and roll
Callista's
your
gonna let
attack
it
roll,
happen.
Shay. Okay.
You're just gonna let it happen. All right.
Oh, I guess you don't even need to roll an attack roll. Just roll.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're trained in unarmed fighting, it's just 1 plus your strength modifier.
Which is so literally it is 0 because I have a strength of 8.
All right, so it's a minimum of 1 damage. So
So it's a weak backhand.
1 damage to Callista. You barely feel it. It is weak and it is sad and it is empty.
Shut up. If there's a void in me, it's because you put it there.
Of course I did.
And then she'll her expression will darken at that. You're not Illira.
Cut me down then. Draw your sword.
You're not talking to Illira, Shay.
And she'll stand up a bit, she'll stand a bit straighter. That. No. No, because that's what you want. I don't want to give you what you want.
Very well. Hurl yourself into the void in the hopes that it will notice you. Either way, I win.
There's one thing that I want to make sure you get. Whoever you are. Nothing.
Good. All right. So at that point, I'm going to need Shay to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Ooh. Well, charisma's one of my better ones. It's not a great one, but it's better. That's an 18.
Great. Okay. The walls shudder around you, and you are abruptly standing elsewhere in a stony labyrinth made of stone and bone, soldered together with webbing of shadows. And standing in front of you is Callista with a very slight red mark on her cheek.
Callista?
Good to see you made it out.
Yeah. So, did I? She'll see that mark and she'll be like, did I hit you?
You did. But it seemed like you needed to work through that.
I think so. That. Sure. That was. I think.
With the mage. We're trapped in a labyrinth. And I think it uses our own pain against us.
Clearly. It almost had me, too. It almost had me, and then it said that my suffering was sweet to the lady. There's one thing I know about Illira, is that she would never... She wouldn't... She's not Sharon.
You saw Illira.
Yes. Yes, I did. She was taunting me. I'm fine. I'll be fine. And she'll actually, there's tears in her eyes that she kind of has to wipe away.
Shay, it's okay to not be fine.
Cannot be fine when we get out of here.
Fair enough.
Speaking of potentially getting out, you do notice, Callista, that you have something in your hand, and it is a spool of golden thread. And that thread has been unspooling. Like it stretches off down the hallway and then around a corner.
Shay, having not noticed this, will just continue on with, how did you find me?
I had some help. We can get more into it, but in the meantime, she'll hold up the thread. How about we get out?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't want to spend any more time in this place than we have to.
I'm of the same mind.
Gonna start following the thread.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Sorrow. So you're on your own. You feel a little bit better. Like your stomach has settled a little, and your head feels a little better. Like maybe eating that cockatrice meat has really solidified your body and your thought processes. You are, shall we say, stone cold sober. And yes, I know. You usually don't go shopping very often because shopping usually requires a certain degree of coin to be had, which you are often without. Do you have any coin right now? Did anyone give you some coin?
No. However, well, I have 15 silver pieces, but Sorrow thinks to herself, this pot thingy that makes food. I'm in the city. I don't need it. I could sell it. Probably get enough for a decent weapon.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to sell it, this would be the place to sell it. There are shops of all kinds. There are people selling pots and pans. There are people selling kind of fancy cookware. There are people selling not fancy cookware. And there are people who are trying to move what they claim to be magical items.
Sorrow will go up to one of the magic item vendors.
Okay. Make an insight check for me, Sorrow.
That'll be a 5.
This is mostly to determine how legit this is, right?
Well, that'll be a 5.
Okay. So, you go up to a man in kind of like ratty, much mended, rough spun robes, and he says, yes, wow, look at you. Amazing. You must be a warrior of great renown. You must be looking for magical treasures to speed you to victory.
Actually, I'm looking to sell a magical treasure.
He was in the process of picking up this golden ring, which he was dusting off very rapidly. And then he's like, oh, really? He puts the ring back down. What do you have?
Pulls out the bowl. Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but
no, that sure doesn't. But often magical treasures don't, you know.
Be quiet. I'm going to show you how it works. And she activates it. You know, the porridge sludge comes out. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good, but it's filling.
His eyes go wide, and he's like, wow. How'd you do that?
It's magic.
I don't follow.
You sell magical trinkets and you don't understand.
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. How often can it do that?
Until the next dusk, so basically once a day.
Once a day, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
Yeah, here.
Okay. All right. He tries it. Oh. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Good.
I told you it doesn't taste very good, but it's filling and it'll keep you going if you're on the road.
I can think of some people who might be interested. Maybe I could. You're looking to sell, you said.
Yes.
All right. How about 40 gold pieces?
Nah, 100.
Oh, okay. Let me just check how the sales have been doing today. He opens up a little tin. He closes it again. How about 50 gold pieces?
75.
He looks in the tin again, this time a little harder. Well, I think, would you like to make another insight check? I think,
Ooh, 23.
you know, if I don't feed my children tonight, I can probably part with 60 gold pieces.
You can feed them this. 75.
Okay, make an intimidation check, please. With your 23, you realize that he is so full of shit. Oh my god. You would
Oh
not
my
be surprised.
god. Natural 1.
Well, okay, that's not necessarily an automatic failure. What is your modified result there?
9. That's the second time I've gotten a natural 1 on an intimidation check.
Okay. He's like 65. 65. Best I can do.
Sorrow thinks to herself, I should have priced weapons first. Damn. Yeah, 65, fine.
All right. He looks in the tin. He just slides the tin over to you.
Thanks. Remember, once a day.
Once a day. Pleasure doing business with you, oh horned one.
Uh-huh.
If you come up with any more magical items, you know where to bring them.
She mumbles to herself, yeah, not you.
That's Misty's Marvels. He points up at the sign, which has like a carving of a person probably trying to look like a powerful archmage, but mostly just looking like within like waves that you think are probably meant to be a Misty Step spell. Misty's Marvels.
Okay, now let's find a weapon dealer.
Okay. You look away, you look back, he's gone. Like he ran off cradling the pot. Okay. Yeah, so you're wandering through the market. You hear some more people. They're talking about the news of the day. There was some explosion up in the temple district. One of the gods get upset. We all know the gods are useless. There's talk about political fighting, like are the Loviatans and the Timorans up again on each other's throats again, that kind of thing. And then there's a bunch of talk about like politics and Cromark Bleth cracking down on so-and-so person, and she'll do something about those priests. Anyway, you followed the sound of the hammering to what is, even to your eye, being still a little bit like a much more respectable sort of establishment. Like there's a big dude and he's hammering weapons, and you see a rack of blades that are for sale. There is a big lady who appears to be, like connected to the dude in some way. They're dressed alike. They both have Smith aprons on, who is selling some of these weapons. And she says, "Ho! Hail and well met."
Hi. I need something big, I need something sharp.
Sounds good. Seem familiar to me. Do I know you?
Raging Sorrow from the arena.
That's
you probably
right.
want money from me.
I have won some coin on you. You were always a safe bet.
Thanks.
Hey, Burke, it's the Raging Sorrow. What? And the man he like throws his hammer up in the air and then he catches it again. And he comes over to you. He says, the Raging Sorrow. I'm Burke. This is Miriam. We
Hi.
we run this forge. What can we do for you?
Something.
The woman explains what you just told her, and he's like, Well, please come and look at my wares. And he opens the he shoves aside a crate that was blocking the way through, and ushers you around the stand. So in the cramped, warm forge, which is under it is one of the side buildings that's outside of the market triangle itself. It is cramped, warm, very warm compared to the cold, misty Westgate morning.
Sorrow lets out a sigh of relief. Oh, that's.
He says, yeah, I thought you might like it. Whenever
bloody
I've
cold in this city.
Whenever I watch you in the arena, you always seem to be, well, pretty hot for battle, you know?
Yeah.
This is a strange thing to say. Anyway, I like your fights. That's what I'm saying. All right, so swords. He shows you some pretty decent, big-looking swords. He says axes, and there are a couple of axes. You know, double-bearded axes, single-bladed axes. One that is like an axe on two ends. And he says, you know, a dwarf ranger had me make that for him. Never came back to claim it, though. Maybe somebody will buy it eventually.
Not me. I'm looking for a sword. Maybe
Sword.
maybe a really big hammer, but swords are more my style.
Okay. How big are we talking this sword?
Like you've seen me in the arena.
Oh, I see you now. You want something big. I understand. All right. Wait a minute. I got just the thing for you. Where is it? And he's peering through his blades, tapping his hammer on his shoulder. Aha! Aha! And he comes out with the biggest great sword. Like, this thing is the blade is 6 to 8 inches wide. It is your anime weapon that your hero wields that is bigger than his body. You, however, are very tall, and the sword is about the same height that you are.
Sorrow picks it up, and not much room in here to test it, but she hefts it and tries to feel the balance and all that.
Miriam gave this sword a name, which was Ravak. Apparently, I don't speak whatever language that name comes from. It means hack. She was calling me a hack. But I think that sword will do pretty good hacking.
Seems like it. How much you want for it?
Well, typical greatsword would run you 50 gold pieces. That hack is barely a typical greatsword. But, you know, for you, being a fan, as I am, of your great work, it would do me a great honor were you to wield this sword in your conquests, and I shall give it to you for materials.
And how much is that?
25 gold pieces.
All right. You know what? Said you were a fan. I'll give it 30.
I knew you were a great warrior. I didn't know you were such a great and truthful and kind person. I will not accept your 30. I will give it to you for 25.
Yeah, all right. 25 it is. And no, don't insult me. I'm not kind.
You're doing me a favor taking this off my hands. Nobody can wield this blade. I just want to see you do it.
Well, if I ever have a bout in the arena, next time I do, I'll be using this.
I'll come to see.
Thank you.
Can I get you anything else? Need some throwing hammers? Some orc shot puts, perhaps? Them fire snails, they brought this new method of fighting. I think it might be just a big troll, but all the noble scions are going mad for it. Let me demonstrate. He picks up a big iron ball. Okay, it's not perfectly symmetrical. It's like a little bit rough, right? He's obviously beat it into being this ball, right? And he's like, Miriam, give me the target. And they bring in a target which looks a little bit like the Night King, except that there are several holes in the target. And he goes, huh, 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 and he hurls this big iron ball, and it goes right and knocks the target's head off. He goes, yeah.
Sorrow will pick it up. How much does it weigh? What's
It
the
is
heft?
pretty heavy. It's like a 10, 15 pound ball, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're hurling that's kind of a lot.
How much for 2 of them?
Sure. I'll give them to you for the 5. If you're so insistent on paying me the 30, I'll throw them in.
All right. Been needing a ranged weapon. This suits my style.
It is definitely a thrown weapon, and it is a thrown bludgeoning weapon, to be clear.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It was what was your name again? Hack?
Burke.
No, wait, that's a sword. Merc.
Sword's called Hack.
Merc. Burke.
Burke.
That's
Miriam.
Miriam. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I need to go find my people.
It's always good to find your people.
Yeah.
He shakes your hand. You flex your biceps.
Oh yeah.
You know, the
That-
predator handshake.
Yep. I was just gonna mention that.
Mhm. All right. I mean, that was a pretty positive experience. You walk away from the armory going, that went pretty well.
And I still have 35 gold pieces.
Which is when you see 2 kind of shady, shadowy, cloaked people. One of whom, like in an alley next to the armory. One of them is like sitting down, cursing up a storm. Even if you don't speak this particular language, which is, to be clear, a version of Netherese. Okay, very ancient human dialect. Cursing up a storm and holding like a severed stump where their hand used to be, and the other one is like sewing it shut with no anesthetic or anything. And they both look up at you, and you look at them, and they have
Look what I found. Hi,
the
guys.
the lank gray skin and tattoos and piercings of the Shadar-Kai. You're pretty sure you recognize at least one of them. And the one who is doing the sewing pulls out her spiked chain, which you fought people with spiked chains before, and it is a tricky weapon to deal with, but interesting. And the one who has only the one hand pulls out a kukri, forward curved hacking sword.
Sorrow
And
pulls out new sword. Let me introduce you to Hack.
so basically, Sorrow, you're ready with your Dragon Slayer sword there, and I'm gonna need you to roll an initiative, please.
I have advantage on initiative.
Sweet.
Something. So 10 or a 21.
And what is your initiative modifier?
+2.
It's 2. Okay. So the uninjured Shadar-Kai does get to go before you, just
Okey-dokey.
barely. And all right, so the one with the spiked chain is going to go first, and he is going to dance toward you and throw out several lashes of her spiked chain.
My armor class is 20.
Okay. So, you manage to dodge the first lash of the chain, but the second one wraps around your arm and the barbs sink in, and it is going to do 21 piercing damage.
Ow.
And then I will need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
That will be a natural 20, 24.
Yeah, you shake the chain off before it can do more to you. Like, she threw the chain, it wrapped around your arm, and then she leaps into the shadows against the wall and appears out of the shadows behind you, wrapping the chain further around you, but you tear it free, and she just whips it back behind her without entangling you or whatever she was going to do. It is now your turn. So she is standing behind you, and the one-handed Shadar-Kai is still in front of you.
All right. High level barbarian stuff. Okay. Bonus action to rage. Then that will give me resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. And I get a bonus damage. Not sure how much. And okay. And then part of the bonus action is going to be instinctive pounce. I'm gonna, depending on how far away she is, if I have to move at all, I can move up to half my speed to get to her.
Okay. You're going after the one with the chain?
Yes.
All right. She's like right behind you, so no
Okay.
problem. I mean, the chain has reach, so she's not actually adjacent to you, but it's only like 5 feet to get to where she is.
Okay. Then I'm not sure how much the bonus damage is for the rage. I'm going to do a reckless attack, which gives me advantage on the attack roll.
Right.
So they're an 18 or a 25.
Those both hit. So yeah, you hit.
Okay.
Remind me what level of barbarian Sorrow is?
He's level 9.
Okay. Level 9, you're gonna do 3 extra damage when you hit while raging.
All right, so 5, 10, so a total of 13.
Okay. You hack down and do a significant amount of damage.
Oh, and I used reckless attack, so my frenzy feature will do an additional 3d6 of damage. Which is 14. And then never mind. All right, I think that's it.
You should be able to attack a second time.
Okay.
Like you should have extra attack from being a like the
right.
little barbarian. So
Got it. Okay. In that case, with this one, I'm going to use Brutal Strike.
okay, you hacked at her with hack. She was not expecting that hit, but she got it anyway.
Actually, I don't think that's going to work. Maybe it will. Hang on, I'm still learning.
No worries.
Okay, till the start of your next turn. All right, so Brutal Strike takes away the advantage. And if the chosen attack hits, they take an additional 1d10. And you can cause one Brutal Strike of your effect, or of your choice. So, first of all, the attack roll, which is a 24.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so first we have 8 plus 5 is 13, plus an additional 3 is 16, and then plus 3d6 from the frenzy, which is another 11, and the brutal strike did the brutal strike do? Oh, another 1d10 damage. That's just one. Then either a forceful blow or a hamstring blow. I guess we'll do a hamstring blow to keep her from moving around.
Yeah, okay.
Target speed is reduced
What'd
by
you roll on the D10? Just one?
just one.
Okay.
The target speed is reduced by 15 feet until the start of your next turn. Okay, I think that's it.
This really turned against her real fast. All right, well.
And since Sorrow was in a rage, she's her eyes are glowing red and she's just snarling and roaring.
Okay. So the Shadow Dancer shouts something to the one-handed Shadar-Kai, who immediately starts running away. Like he just runs the other way down the alley. She shouts at him again, sounding a little bit put out this time. She's just going to try and escape from you, essentially. She swings her chains to kind of distract you and lunges into the shadows at the side of the alley. You are intimately familiar with what shadow dancing looks like and or feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what she is doing. And she is going to attack you with the chain a couple times while she's trying to flee. Or actually, no, she's not going to do that. She's going to disengage so that you don't cut her down while she's trying to escape. And then she kind of like backs away, swinging the chain to like confuse you, and then into the shadows. You want to make a perception check to see if you see where she reappeared?
Sure, but Sorrow also bellows, "Coward!"
Oh yeah. Well, you did drop her to 16 hit points in 2 hits.
Nice. 24 for the perception.
Okay. Yeah, you see the shadows open on the rooftop above you, and it seems that she shadow danced up onto the roof.
Okay.
And you can also hear her labored breathing up there.
Sorrow is not in her right mind. She's already in a bad mood, and she's in a rage, and she doesn't even think about it. She's going to regret it later, but she's going to use the Mark of the Destroyer to cast one of her invocations, Jump.
Uh-huh. So
And before
that golden mark on her head starts glowing.
before I do that, with the jump spell, can she get up there and still attack?
Yes.
Okie
I'm
dokie.
pretty sure you could do that. Yes.
All right, up she goes.
Okay. So the Shadow Dancer was like, oh, good, I've escaped. And up comes Sorrow, crackling with golden fire, trailing behind her with this huge sword raised. Now, typically, barbarians in the midst of their rage cannot summon the focus to channel and cast magical spells. But this particular mark, which is the mark of your Warlock Pact that you've been trying to avoid using, specifically allows you to cast Warlock spells while raging. And so there's no way she could have expected this could happen. But it does. And Sorrow, I'm going to need you to make an athletics check, please. You do still have the jump going, but this is going to determine.
23.
No problem. You land and put a small crater into the kind of raised doorway that she danced into the shadow of. The doorway being the only escape from this rooftop. You land in it, basically knock it down as you're holding yourself up, and look at the Shadar-Kai, and she looks up at you, and she says something in Elvish. Does Sorrow speak Elvish?
Yes.
Oh, it is definitely cursing in Elvish. Like the Elvish F-bomb.
Right.
I think it was a standard action to do the jump, so you can't necessarily attack again. But if you would like to make an intimidation check, I will allow you to do that, because this was pretty intimidating what you just did.
I don't have a particular goal in mind for the intimidation check, because right now Sorrow is so lost in her rage that she just wants blood. She wants to kill this person. So that is a 22 on the intimidation check.
Okay, so the Shadar-Kai kneels down and spreads her hands out in obvious surrender and takes no action on her turn. What do you do?
Oh shit. Oh golly. Is there anything, I don't know, something that could remind her, maybe something that might remind her of Ilmarin, or something that would get her to snap out of this before she brutally murders this thing?
Ilmarin isn't here, and Shay and Callista aren't here.
Okay.
And this person did attack you and possibly killed a bunch of people in this attack on Westgate. So
That's
if you
a
would like
to hit.
All right. Are you hitting her with the sword, or are you just shoving her off the building?
Hitting her with the sword.
Okay, you hit her with the sword.
8, 11 damage plus 10 more from the frenzy.
Oh yeah. You hack her cleanly in half. Half of her falls off the building.
And Sorrow roars first in triumph and then starts to realize what she's done. Falls to her knees and bellows in anger at herself and grief, possibly. Shame, as the glow from the mark slowly fades.
Okay. So as this sorrow fills you, you are keenly aware of the retreating footfalls of the injured Shadar-Kai, who is still running down on the street level. And you can see him from your vantage, because now you're on top of the building,
Mm-hmm.
he seems to be running toward another shop not too far away. Would you like to give pursuit?
Given her state of mind, she needs a moment to just recover and feel all of this. And so it registers that he's getting away, but she's too messed up right now to do anything about it.
Okay. So Sorrow remains on the rooftop, lamenting
Yep.
your slip up in what you were hoping for yourself, and the Shadar-Kai runs into this other building. Okay, we're going to switch over to Callista and Shay. Sorrow, you're going to get inspiration for good role playing.
Yay.
All right, which might come in handy in just a minute. So, Callista and Shay, you have breached the spell, and you find yourselves once again in the kind of floral, strangely smelling shop that Donna, the Red Wizard, runs. The Shadar-Kai witch who cast the spell on you was just getting to the door. She has like a sack of herbs. Donna is nowhere to be seen. Like, there was obviously some kind of conflict between the two of them, and you don't see Donna anymore. And the Shadar-Kai witch is heading out the door, and she's got these herbs, and then you reappear, and she looks at you and she goes, "Shit. Shit and ashes." And then the door opens, not under her control, but from the outside. And you see a terrified Shadar-Kai come stumbling in. He is gripping his severed hand to his chest, and he says, he just kind of shouts out in Elvish. He says, "It's coming for me, it's coming!" And then they both look at the two of you.
Bad place to come. And then
Pinsir?
Shay's going. Pinsir. And Shay's going to draw the poisoned adamantine rapier, and yeah, she's going to attack.
All right, so I'm going to need some initiative from the two of you as well.
He's furious.
Sorrow is still technically in this combat, so Sorrow is going to go with the initiative that she had before, which, to remind everybody, because that might have been a while ago, is 21. So what did Shay get?
20.
20. It's pretty good. What did Callista get?
21.
Okay. What is Callista's initiative modifier?
+4.
Okay. All right, you're all gonna get to go before the Shadar-Kai. Well, yes. So, in fact, Callista is going to get to go first.
Okay. So, is Shay looking like she's just going to run straight in, or is she looking like she's about to maybe do some shadow dancing?
She's looking like she might be about to do some shadow dancing.
Okay. So then Callista will go straight in. But before doing that, because if I recall, she already had her weapons out when the spell was cast. Because she was getting ready for something to happen.
That Callista did? Or
Yeah,
that
I
Shay
think so.
did? Yeah, I think you
Callista.
were in the process of drawing your weapons when the spell took effect. So you have your weapons in your hand.
Okay. So Callista will focus on the witch and will mutter something in Sylvan, casting Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
And then she's just going to cross the distance and start swinging with her rapier and scimitar combo.
Great. All right, so Hunter's Mark on the witch.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I mixed this up. Let me update my notes. One second. All right. Yep. Go ahead and attack.
All right. So opening with the scimitar, 17 to hit.
17 is going to hit. Callista has an
Okay.
unusual fighting style, which is a scimitar and a rapier.
All right. So that is going to be 8 slashing.
Okay.
1 psychic.
Okay.
And 3 force.
Okay.
Then we're going to do double tap with the rapier. So first swing with the rapier is an 18 to hit.
All right, that hits. It's like this kind of like whirl, and then just neat.
And then that's 12 piercing and 1 force.
Okay.
And then the second swing with the second shot with the rapier has advantage.
So the when you hit the witch the first time, actually, you start swinging then with the rapier, but the witch just shadow erupts from around her and whisks her away. The shadow disperses throughout the room. The wounded Shadar-Kai is still there, though. Did you want to attack him with that second attack instead?
Yeah, I guess so. So 18 to hit, just to double
Okay.
check it.
Yep. Yeah, that definitely hits. And
Okay.
it was 13 damage.
It just 12 because he doesn't have Hunter's Mark on him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
And then the second one is a 27 to hit.
Yeah. No, that definitely hits.
Okay. I'm going
Man,
to
this guy
re-roll
cannot
that.
catch a break.
Gonna re-roll that using Piercer. So 12 damage from that one.
Okay. All right. He, unfortunately, does not disappear into mist, but instead just gets stabbed by that rapier.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him.
However, as soon as like you strike him, darkness kind of like erupts out of him, and the world, like, you feel exhausted, like the weight of ages crashes down upon you. What it does is it reduces your speed by 20 feet until the start of your next turn.
Okay.
It's like an aura of apathy and ennui is surrounding this Shadar-Kai. Very appropriate mechanics. Okay. Sorrow's turn. Sorrow, you can hear the sounds of battle in this room where he ran to. And specifically, he went in, and then shadow burst out of there, like just like a fireball went off, but it was just shadow. And
Sorrow will start. Sorrow will still lamenting, sorrowful, but she's gonna climb down and head towards the door.
Okay. With your jump effect still lasting, you could just hop down there if you wish, or you could jump all the way to the shop opening. Shop door.
Okie dokie, I guess we'll do that. Boing, 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 boing.
Right. You don't fly exactly,
No.
but you superhero leap.
Yep.
Okay. And sure enough, you land right behind the one-armed Shadar-Kai, who has got his well, he put his kukri away when he was running, and now he just has the one hand. You still have an action, however. It was just movement, basically, to leap over here.
She's going to say in a very low, unpleasant, growling voice, part of your friend is on the roof. The other part is in the alley. I'll do the same thing to you unless you surrender.
Okay. So you're gonna...
With an intimidation check. God dang it. What is with my dice and intimidation? Intimidation.
I don't know, but like you're having this fight, and then Sorrow appears and just like Michael Myers behind this guy. Hello. And whatever Sorrow said, like, escapes you in the shock of seeing Sorrow just land there with this huge sword. Like, you don't see the end of the sword. It just extends toward the top of the door and then beyond. Anyway.
She's covered in somebody else's blood too.
Oh yeah. Kind of black Shadar-Kai blood, to be clear. All right. Well, let's see if you convinced him to surrender. You did not. Okay. It is Shay's turn.
So it is. So the one that
Now there's a lot of shadow over those people, by the way. Sorrow's shadow is looming into the building, covering this Shadar-Kai in shadow.
Okay. Where did the other one go?
She's dead.
Make a perception check.
Not that one. All right. That, and I was asking that out of character.
Oh,
Yep.
Sorry.
Perception. 'Cause I don't know about the one you killed. 25.
Well, seeing the blood all over Sorrow, you can make some conclusions. All right, with the 25, okay. So you have faced Shadar-Kai before, and you have seen Vane, Lady Blackblade, do this specifically in your memory dream that may not have happened, like in another timeline, right?
There's so many of those.
Where she was struck and teleported away, becoming invisible. So you kind of know what to look for, okay? And with your massive 25 perception, you can tell that the witch teleported away and turned invisible and is now standing out there somewhere, like kind of near one of the market stands.
Okay.
Like you could tell vaguely, basically, where she is.
All right. Is there a...
Even if you can't see her specifically.
All right. Can I shadow dance over there?
Yes.
All right. Seeing that she did poof and kind of getting that general idea of where she is, and seeing that with this guy basically flanked by Callista and Sorrow, Shay, still very angry after everything that happened in the maze, is now fixed on the one that's trying to get away. So she's going to step back into shadows and emerge right around where she thinks this person is.
I think in terms of distance, because the teleportation was up to 60 feet and the tents are a little bit farther away, it would make more sense for you to go into the shadows near the entrance and then come out by the shadows by the... So, as I imagine it, Shay charges at the guy in the doorway like she's gonna stab him, and then melts into the shadows before she gets to him, and then comes out by the stands. Still charging.
Still, like, she'll charge out like she's lunging, and then try to drive her poisoned rapier through where she thinks that person is.
Okay.
And since I shadow danced, I get advantage.
Okay.
If she is there.
Well, that cancels out the disadvantage from attacking an invisible creature.
That's true.
So it's just gonna be a straight roll.
Okay, so that means I can't backstab.
Correct. You will not be able to sneak attack, but you might still hit her.
Well, sure. I will make that attempt now. 14 only. I rolled a 4, so 14.
Oh man, 14 is actually what her armor is. All right. Yes, you managed to sink your blade in. Roll some damage, please.
All right.
Just for the
Here's
blade
the-
itself.
Yeah. It's gonna be 10 for that, and then whatever
Okay.
the poison does.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Okay.
Thought so.
This is the first time you have stabbed somebody with the poisoned rapier from the scabbard of melting poison death.
Mm-hmm.
And it does 7d6 poison damage. Please roll that.
Ah. Okay. 7d6. All right.
Correct.
All right, dear Lord, let's go. 23.
Okay, that's yeah. Okay, so she does not become visible, but she cries out in pain and then starts cursing in Elvish about the poison now coursing through her body. And yeah. Okay. So you've used your bonus action, you've used your action. Anything else? I think that's it.
I think that's all I can do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it is now One Hand's turn, and he is going to. All right. What he does is he emits a wave of apathy and weariness, and I'm going to need everybody within a 60-foot cube. Okay, so this is going to catch Shay as well. Okay. So I'm going to need all three of you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Not my best work. Oh, 20.
Nice.
I'll take
17.
All right, I have disadvantage on wisdom saves.
It's a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Constitution.
Not wisdom. Don't worry.
Okie dokie.
Mhm.
That would be a 19 then.
You all succeeded.
Yay.
You take 16 psychic damage, which is potentially modified by resistances or vulnerabilities you might have.
I have vulnerability to psychic damage. So...
All right, so that means you take 32 psychic damage.
Ow!
And you gain 1 level of exhaustion. Or no, you all made your save, so you don't gain exhaustion. Okay.
Well, that's good.
All right. Okay, that was. Let me see. I think that's all he can do, really. Yeah. And yeah. All right. Then it is going to be the witch's turn. So the witch fades back into visibility, and she does so while casting a spell. So she is going to just look something up real fast to make sure I'm using the proper 2024 version of this spell, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to emulate D&D 5.5 whenever possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to need Shay to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Again with the Constitution. Okay.
She's targeting your potential weakness.
Only 8 this time.
Okay, only 8 this time. That means that you are going to take the brunt of this strike. However, there is some good news, which you will appreciate in a second. So, 6. Oh, man. Okay. It was a 6d10 attack, but she rolled so low that it does 22 necrotic damage to you, which, as I recall, you were resistant to anyway.
No,
so you take.
I'm not anymore.
You're not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you take 22 necrotic damage.
Ever since Mirren took her spell scar, she lost her necrotic resistance.
All right, you take 22 necrotic damage. Like
Ow.
you've seen somebody do this. You have this memory of Ilra touching you, and normally when she would touch people, it would cause their skin to bubble and crackle and unravel with necrotic damage. But you, Shay, were always extremely resilient and resistant to it. And
Yes.
so maybe some of that sense memory comes back and you're like, no, this is no problem. Ah! And it reminds you again.
All right.
Okay.
Noted.
That's it for her. Callista's turn.
All right. I believe I have a lovely friend here in need of slashing and stabbing.
Oh, she the witch does actually make a couple of other attacks on Callista as well, but I'll just go ahead and roll those while you're doing your thing.
Okay.
She has a spear. A shadow spear.
Oh, so she's doing that toss thing.
No, the witch just has a spear and she's just like swinging it around. She's doing the Gabrielle from Xena thing, and her
Attacking Callista or Shay?
The witch who is attacking Shay.
Okay,
Yeah,
you said
okay.
Callista. That's why.
Sorry about that. Sorry about
Threw me
that.
off.
Shay,
Yeah.
her best attack was AC 25. Does that hit?
That will hit. Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I started to shortchange her of her actual stuff. So it does 10 piercing damage
Okay.
and 25 necrotic damage. Yeah. All right.
Okay. I'm not doing hot, but yeah.
Okay. Now it is Callista's turn. So you rolled an attack?
Do we get advantage from flanking because we're on opposite sides of them?
Let's go with yes.
Okay.
Okay.
19
Yeah, that's gonna
to
hit.
hit. Okay. So that's going to be 7 slashing and 1 psychic.
Okay. He doesn't seem to take any psychic damage.
Okay. Following up, that is only a 16 to hit.
That does still hit him though.
Okay. So that's going to be 14 piercing.
Okay.
And then the follow-up, that is a 30 to hit, so that'll get it.
Oh yeah.
For another 13 piercing.
Okay. All right.
That'll be it.
Zara's turn. Doesn't seem to be surrendering. Oh, you're muted there, Kay. Sorry. Still muted.
Oh, sorry about that.
There we go.
Sorrow's rage ended while she was on the rooftop. So I'm going to use a bonus action to use Second Wind to recover 1d10 plus 1 hit points.
Okay.
Or 2. That's awesome. And then she really doesn't want to kill this guy because somewhere in the back of her mind she realizes they need to interrogate one of these guys.
When you are doing melee attacks, you can choose, and you knock somebody out, you can choose to kill them or just knock them unconscious. So subdual damage isn't really a thing. You just tell me when you're landing that knockout blow.
Okay. Well, in that case, flat of the blade or whatever. Great sword, no rage. 13 to hit.
Nope, that's not going to do it. Although you do
But,
have
yeah.
advantage because you are flanking.
How about 20?
Oh yeah, that's going to hit.
Okay. So that'll be a total of 9 damage.
Okay. Just the one attack, huh?
I get an extra attack, don't I?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Still advantage?
Yeah.
Okay, 21.
Yep, that hits.
And 12 with that one.
Sorry, when Sorrow's raging with this sword, I just picture like the start of your turn is always like that panel where you're cocking the sword, and then the next panel is right. Okay. All right, Shay's turn.
All right. So, when she got hit with the necrotic spell and then stabbed, like Shay, like there's a moment where she just kind of like goes rigid, right? And then, like her was already kind of like fixated and angry. This just turns into a look of just sheer rage. As her golden eyes, despite being gold, seem to flash red for a moment, and she bears like nasty fanged teeth, and lets out a rather kind of enraged scream, as she lunges. Instead of going for her sword, she lunges to basically like grab and sink her fangs into the Shadar-Kai. And so, because she's just lost it. So I'm going to. Because I'm below half health, I have advantage on this attack.
Oh.
So I'm going to roll with advantage. Let's go. 16.
Yeah, it's gonna hit.
All right. So she latches on, and only deals 4 piercing, but she heals for 4.
Okay.
And she
Which
is
was
like,
definitely not expecting this.
and she is like grabbing on for dear life and just trying to bear her to the ground as she's savaging this Shadar-Kai's throat.
Okay. Great. Yes, the witch is taken off guard by this savage attack. And let's see. I think you're a bit close for bringing that spear to bear.
Yeah, probably a bit.
Okay. This is what she does. She is casting a spell, and much like last time when she cast a spell in the herbalist shop, like it takes you a second to even clock that she's casting a spell because the incantation sounds so strange. And again, you're a little too furious to really make much out of that, but you will remember it after the battle. And then a globe of darkness appears around you.
Okay. It's a good thing I have I'm a Twilight cleric. Oh.
Yeah. So she assumes that this is going to blind you. And then she tries to escape from your clutches.
Okay.
Unsuccessfully. So she's kind of screwing around.
Right.
But she is going to get to Shadow Dance again. Let's see. Oh, wait. No. Wrong Shadar-Kai. So no, because she's not a shadow dancer and can't do that. So she tried to escape from your clutches. That didn't work.
Okay.
And she is going to try and slip free. No, that's it. Just the one time. All right, you're still holding on to her. Okay.
Lovely.
That makes it the one-handed Shadar-Kai's turn. He is pretty sure that he's gonna die, so he shouts, "For the prince!" in Elvish, and then casts a spell on. Okay, Cora, do you prefer odds or evens?
Let's go with odds.
Cast a spell on Callista. All right. So, he points a finger of his one good hand right at Callista. Callista, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does
this provoke opportunity attacks? No.
Yes. Okay.
It does not, unless you have a feat that makes it do that.
Do I?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I got an 11.
You got an 11. Okay. You take 50 necrotic damage. From his Finger of Death spell.
Ow.
Yeah. You're still up, though?
Still up. Still
All
above
right.
half.
All right, great. Callista is very tough, and that is really coming through in this fight. Okay. Callista, it is your turn. He looks really impressed that you did not just perish from him casting the death spell on you.
Well, I really appreciate that that the last look on his face will be, being impressed. Because I'm going to try and cut him down now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 24 to hit.
Yep, hits.
For 10 slashing.
Okay.
5 psychic.
All right. He doesn't take any psychic damage.
Then we have a 20 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
That's going to be 11 piercing.
Okay.
And then last one's a 23 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
For 10 piercing.
Okay. He is still up, just barely.
All right. I'm sure Sarah will take care of that.
Does Callista look impressed that she stabbed him like 8 times and he's still up? Nah. All right.
She looks annoyed.
She looks annoyed. All right, Sarah, it is indeed your turn.
How wobbly on his feet does he look?
Oh, he looks like a stiff breeze could put him over.
How about a
You
stiff?
could head flick him unconscious.
How about a stiff fist? She's just gonna punch him
Okay.
because she wants him alive and she doesn't
gonna
want to
attack?
risk. That would be a natural 20
Oh my god. Okay.
or 30.
Yeah, no, that hits.
I don't know how much an unarmed strike does. I
It
believe
just
it's-
does, unless you have like a brawling feat or something, it does 1 plus your strength modifier.
Okay, so like 6.
Okay. Except that you rolled a natural 20, so it doubles
Right.
the dice, so it's 7 damage.
Right.
So you sucker punch him and he goes down.
We'll talk to you later, Lefty.
All right. You still technically have an extra attack.
Right. Shay's still fighting the other one, so
Hmm?
Callista's gonna notice that Sorrow just looks even despite the whatever darkness thing that the Shadar-Kai did, she just looks drained, morose, like she just doesn't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, there's a battle going on in that globe of darkness, and I'm not sure, can Sarah see through darkness? That would be if you have the Devil's Sight invocation, you can see through darkness.
Radio. Warlock stuff. Warlock stuff? Where'd it go? Yeah.
You can at least hear them fighting.
Yes, I do have Devil's Sight.
Oh, okay. In which case, you can also see them fighting, and they and Shay is clinging to this Shadar-Kai like a vampire, right? Like wrapped her limbs around her and her legs around her waist, and is just like biting her neck and shoulder. They're draining blood out of her.
Damn.
You think you have enough movement, you could get over there.
Yeah.
Oh no, because you started next to him and your movement was reduced. So you probably don't have enough movement to get over there.
Well, I'm gonna start getting over there.
But you do have an Orcish shot put.
Oh yeah, but I might hit Shay. So I'm not gonna take that risk. I'm just gonna head over there.
Fair enough. All right, you start moving over there. You're moving slower than usual. Like the world, it's like when you're at the end of a race and you've been running for like an hour and your legs are just like, they feel sodden and wooden and they're just not moving. That's what this feels like. Okay. Shay's turn.
Yes.
Okay. You're not blinded.
In her state of mind, she's gonna keep just trying to drain this person. Basically, she's
okay.
Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom. How do we want to handle that exactly? Let's see.
You're just. Well, let me see. I'm just gonna pull up your character sheet real fast, so that I make sure I'm familiar with how your how this ability would work. So, 1 second.
All right. Well, I know you can like use the life regain or like the empowerment bits of it a certain number of times per day.
All right. So it seems like you're making another attack with your vampiric bite.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your attack with your Constitution modifier instead of your Strength modifier.
Mm-hmm.
As usual.
Yep. And I still have advantage because I'm still below half health.
All right. Sorry for the slightly strange cut. We had some technical difficulties. If you're watching the stream live, you know what I'm talking about. But in case you're just seeing it now, here we go. To briefly recap, the battle in the apothecary has finished. Callista, badly wounded by the dark magic from the Shadar-Kai, has stumbled out into the street. Sorrow remains behind, looking down at this corpse, or, well, he's not actually dead. He's just lying there so still he might as well be a corpse. And maybe she's about to make him into a corpse. It's hard to say, but Callista feels more inclined to go help Shay. Shay is in the heart of darkness, literally and figuratively, and is just drinking this black viscous blood out of this Shadar-Kai. So that's where we're going to start up here. Allie. So as Shay is drinking this blood, you hear and feel like these soft lips against your ear that say, "Just like that, pet. Just like that." And it is delicious, this blood. It's like drinking darkness. It's like drinking the fullness of your being. Like, this is what you are meant to do.
Okay, that's concerning.
The Shadar-Kai's hands kind of like bat at you increasingly weakly.
Okay. Yeah, Shay is like at this point she's kind of very much in the thrall, in the thick of this urge. Like she's been heavily injured. She's angry and desperate, and that attack that triggered this kind of frenzy really kind of set her over the edge, and she just wants to take everything.
Yes. You feel arms wrap gently but firmly around you, holding you to the Shadar-Kai. Whether they are the Shadar-Kai's arms or someone else's arms, you don't know and you don't care. Do you want to try and pull away? Just checking in.
You know what? Let me
If you do, make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna actually ask about, because that wisdom, I mean, that is a 19.
Okay. Yes, you can pull away. You break free, and blood just comes drooling out of your mouth. And you find yourself face to face in the darkness, which you can see through, with Illyra, who is kneeling next to you and just watching you, her eyes of jet black. And she says, "Well, don't stop on my account, pet."
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? What are you doing here?
Just trying to survive.
She reaches toward your face. Are you gonna let her touch you?
Sure.
Okay, she touches your cheek and kind of caresses the side of your face, and then puts her hand on the back of your neck. And she says, "Then survive." And she plunges your head back into the bloody mess that is the Shadar-Kai's neck.
Okay. Oh.
Callista, you're heading out of the apothecary just in time to see the darkness crack, flicker, and fade out of existence. And in the middle of the space, where everyone can see in the overcast Westgate daylight, is Shay drinking blood from the neck of this Shadar-Kai woman, who is very, very dead. Like, her already gray skin has turned bone white, as if there is no blood left in her body, because most of it is either in or on Shay.
Yeah, and Callista just freezes and looks on with an expression of like honest horror. Like, this is not what she expected, and this is terrifying.
You also don't see any other people there. It's just Shay and that Shadar-Kai. Sorrow comes out of the apothecary. She utters a brief curse, which is the realm's equivalent of shit. She goes over and she just wrenches Shay off of the Shadar-Kai body. Like, Sorrow's really strong, but she still struggles to detach Shay from her host that she's feeding on, like a parasite. And Shay just comes off with this like string of blood and saliva coming from her mouth. And Sorrow bellows at her, "Wake up! Wake up, damn it! Wake up!"
And that, I think, is enough to kind of like that feral light that was in Shay's eyes kind of fades, and she blinks and looks around like, what? Like, looks at, the blood that's probably undoubtedly on her hands too, at the Shadar-Kai, the taste in her mouth, and she just
crumpled, desiccated corpse down below you.
yeah, just she's already pretty pale and gray, but she goes paler, and just kind of like this look of horror just comes over her, and she freezes. And stammering, just a mess.
It's okay, Sorrow says. Come on, let's get you inside. You see there are people watching you. This is a crowded market day, and people were in the market and they're watching, and you hear whispers. Your enhanced elven hearing is even more enhanced with the Shadar-Kai's blood coursing through you. It feels cold and sludgy inside your body, but it enhances, like, background sounds drown out to zero, and you feel this, like the world is kind of like hollowed out. Sounds are especially loud, echoing across a great distance, and you can hear people saying, "Isn't that Lady Darksong? Isn't that the woman from the Purple Lady? Yeah, that's her." And people are horrified and a little intrigued and surprised. Okay, and Sorrow hauls Shay back to the apothecary. Callista, you look down at the desiccated Shadar-Kai corpse, and yeah, that's. You also look up at the people who are looking now at you, since you're the one standing there. Do you want to say anything? Do you want to retreat into the apothecary? What do you want to do?
She'll probably look around and then just turn and slip back into the apothecary without a word.
Okay. And I think that is a reasonable place to end this. Thank you for bearing with us for doing our little re-record here. We will pick up in the next episode with a little bit of scene inside the apothecary. If I recall correctly, this is very complicated.
Well, so that actually happened this episode in what we lost.
Are you sure?
I am like 90% sure. I'm pretty sure, didn't it?
No.
Okay.
We ended with the shadows dropping.
That's right.
Everything
right,
as far as inside the apothecary started next time.
Okay, so I assume Allie's going to edit some of this out, but if she doesn't, well, just consider yourselves fortunate to see the ritual of chronomancy in action. I have been Eric Scott to be the DM of this campaign, coming at you from the future and from the past and from all time, everywhere, all at once. I am a writer. You can find my stuff. Go to the Dungeon Scrawlers Discord. It's great. We talk about this and other campaigns, and we have stuff forthcoming. There's a very cool game in the works that I know you'll want to check out. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take it away, Allie.
Hi everybody, I'm Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie for short. I've played Shay. I won't bog you down too much with the usual goodbyes. So thanks for coming, and yeah, check out the Discord.
And I am Cora. I played Callista, the face guard hunter, who is definitely a little more scarred and worried about the people she has fallen in with. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and a big thank you to Kay, who couldn't be here to record this. We miss you.
Yeah, Sorrow will return. Don't worry. All right, see y'all next time.